8GCE 391, that's a demon, and she's also going to federal prison. That's a sex offender. Touching with impossible light under that which is not the sun over Starbucks and on Route 61. Impossible light moves, that's why they're all going to federal prison. That's sad. 4XKD252, the same entity. I want to point something out. First of all, waste management is who you see group stalking, using that truck as a method of light activity amplification while I'm inside of my leasing office. That's a demon driving a dumpster truck, which is actually targeting me while I am at my leasing office walking down from my apartment, where you're looking at engineered light all over the apartment building that demon, Iris Carnero, lives in. She's a demon engaging in a sex offense. She's touching all over my thighs and all over my body. I'm going to prosecute her as the sex offender that she is, while she's crossing path under that which is not possibly the sun, which by the way is no longer over building 1810 as I'm facing my leasing office, and you're looking at what's impossible light activity that's reaching underneath the covered structure. It's also with regard to documentation on April 24, 2022, while you're looking at waste management engaging in what is state terrorism in concert with the state, using that brand as a means of what is going to be prosecuted civilly and criminally, engaged in that sexual pattern of conduct. Waste management is the audible activity, while that demon driving that black Nissan is a means of what is molesting my person, my thighs and my genitalia. You're touching all over my body with engineered light because you're stalking and monitoring, and waste management is the audible activity that coexists with that sex offense. All right, so I want to be clear. Understand how demons are engaging in the sex offense while they employ their demonic methods to keep you under surveillance under a light source that's not even possibly remaining over me, while I am at this time on Route 61, which is going eastbound on Hope Boulevard, which I took a picture of at 12:40 p.m. If I recollect correctly, it's currently I took a picture of that at 12:50 p.m. It's 12:42 p.m. right now, and I'm referencing April 24, 2022. And I also capture video. This is after remaining at Starbucks in Montclair. And that at no time is happening when you're looking at the light source directly over my apartment building. You're also paying attention. This is a grand departure. I never come out and walk out here. This is Alvarado Street, where the demons are patrolling, crossing paths with me and my apartment when they're engaging in a sex offense, and they're monitoring while I'm inside my office, engaging in workplace terrorism, sexual violence, and harassment as an entity monitoring. And the entity is maintaining a light source now at Alvarado, which is not over building 1810, because I'm at Alvarado, which is where waste management is group stalking in the path, okay, using that vehicle as a means of light activity, and then engaging in the sex offense while that same entity with the license plate that I read you saw crossing light not only moves across that wall, but across my person, okay? That's impossible light activity. License 9GMW654 is a demon crossing path as well, under the same phenomenon. It's here because the entity is engaged in state surveillance. That's the purpose for having the demonic imitation of a natural environment. This is the engagement in that system which is surrounding the so-called secret society. And I am on Omnitrans, which is a third-party group stalker. This is also prosecuting that entity because on Omnitrans, the light source is remaining over me, and I go back toward what is Ontario, eastbound on Hope Boulevard, and the light source is remaining, and I capture video after I leave Montclair. At no point is the sun going to be over the Starbucks like I captured in multiple videos after 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock, not getting back on Omnitrans until after 12. The entity is maintaining that light source as I get on Alvarado. Excuse me, I'm on Alvarado right now where this demon is crossing path. I am on Route 61 where the entity is crossing path and maintaining presence while I am going back toward what is Fontana. Well, Ontario is the area where I was remaining at. And the entity is, this is light activity crossing path, all right? The entity is maintaining that specific environment that's nowhere near Alvarado Street, nowhere near the driveway, under no circumstances is driving under the sun. Even if we take out the P.O.C. analysis, driving under the sun doesn't create sunlight moving all across surfaces, moving all across buildings. Those are where demons do that. Okay, and the entities, thousands and thousands of them engaging in that. License 6YMH705, P.O.C. Engineered light is on the asphalt while that demon is stalking by crossing path, okay? Maintaining the light activity. There are demons that are crawling all around. That's the same thing, crawling all around. A method of light activity is the vehicle lights. That's a demon that's just hopping in, maintaining activity, okay? It is currently 12:44 p.m. and that video documentation is already visible. The link is already published, and Iris Carnero is engaging in that sex offense with her minor children in custody, but she's going to be prosecuted. Pay attention to the video because impossible light, when that demon drives by, it appears on this wall, and it appears on, oh, let me point something else out to you, because what you'll notice is when she's driving by me, the impossible light activity is coming across from the passenger side of her vehicle in order to touch me. When she's driving and it hits this wall, it's hitting the nearest surface, which is from the driver's side. By the way, it's all impossible, but I want you to focus on what's the purpose: molesting the person and the demonic objective for engineered light to touch on surfaces. That's why it's appearing there. Okay, it's impossible light though under all circumstances. Sunlight doesn't ricochet. The sun is over you, and it's a downward trajectory of so-called sunlight, but you're talking about a sideways trajectory of light. The entity is engaging in what is stalking, and that's a demon who's in custody of minor children, who she engages in sex offenses in concert with, and engages in what's the state's criminal system with. And she has exhibited that so many times. She's going to federal prison for engaging in an ongoing documented endeavor. She's also engaged in Title 18 criminal conduct in concert with the state. While the light source is remaining over me, a grand departure from being over Alvarado, understand. And it's not over building 1810, which I'm taking still images of. Under no circumstances is that even the sun, when it's rising through my window, that was 7 o'clock in the morning. It is 12, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Not only would it not be here over the property, it's still over my head. That's what the entity is doing. Stalking in a specific environment, and that's how you know that's a demon, not just a stalker. That's a demon-possessed stalker who is engaging in what is keeping you under surveillance. You're under surveillance in a very specific environment, very specific, where demons are driving all around you, walking all around you, while engineered light moves all around. Okay? While I'm showing you the methods of stalking with light, your shadow appearing in the shade, your sunlight appearing above your head, in your bedroom, in your living room, like you saw. And then you'll see demons walking on the sidewalk with a trail of children, like you saw Precious Bastillos doing, while that impossible light activity, that demonic environment was present inside of my bedroom. I want to be clear, that demon, Precious Bastillos, is group stalking and monitoring and knows exactly where I'm at while she's crossing paths with a bunch of children. She's engaging in demonic activity with them that's sick, but on a legal level, with regard to what she's engaging in a sex offense, and she's doing it with kids. Okay, no hesitation of removing those children. That's exactly what Iris Carnero is engaging in. This is a sick population engaging in criminal conduct, and they are witnessing their exposure, and they are showing ongoing gross level of impunity. It's not only gross because they're sex offenders that want to touch all over you and they're obsessively stalking you, but they still can't stop even when they're prosecuted. That's just informing federal policy. All of the children here are going to be removed from the custody of the people of the state. They are perverted, they are highly demented, and they are obsessive stalkers. And I want you to see the light source that is now over building 1810, where it was as I captured images. Nowhere near is this also over Alvarado. It's clearly here, okay? And this is the pattern of conduct. This is the specific environment. And you're also looking at this because the entity is keeping in alignment with me when it's through my bedroom window after 6 p.m. and it stays in alignment with my bedroom window. That's what the entity is doing. Rising, keeping a light source over me all day long, where it's setting on the opposite side of my person. That's been the years of documentation. And the demon-possessed population are stalking you in that environment. That is federal group stalking and monitoring. It's demons that are obsessed and they're stalking you on a 24-hour basis, and that engineered environment, the specific environment, is readily identifiable in that. At no point, by the way, it's 12:47 p.m. right now, and the light source is over me in the same position at the San Bernardino Superior Court, while I'm facing what is the building 1810 North Alvarado Street in Los Angeles, California. And that is, again, taking you on a little field trip so that you know exactly what was going on as I documented while the entity is stalking by helicopter, just like you saw the entity stalking in an airplane, while you're witnessing the phenomenon in San Bernardino at the intersection of Arrow and 3rd Street, the Superior Court, where the entity is engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. That is also letting you know that courthouse is filled with demons who are sitting on the bench, who are literally wearing badges, being the security guards. They're all a bunch of third-party and state actors where state surveillance is underway, and that courthouse is filled with the demon-possessed who are engaged in state surveillance and federal stalking in violation of Title 18.22618 subsections 1 and 2. And that's why at 12:47 p.m., as I capture the light source right over my head, you'll see it when I'm aiming my camera right up. There's a helicopter flying right over me at the courthouse, which you're looking at LAPD engaged in this criminal system all day long, 20 to 25 times every day, flying in a circle for 47 minutes. That same entity is group stalking at the San Bernardino Superior Court. And I captured it at 12:47. And this is during the same time, during daylight savings time. And this is the entity that is molesting with engineered light, demons that are working in the courthouse, demons that are in custody of children, demons that are sex offenders and highly demented group stalkers that are working in the court. They're sitting on the bench, and one of them is going to federal prison, and his name is Thomas Garza, who engaged in the criminal act of denying what is lawfully mine, and that was the right to submit my civil case against the state of California. The entity did so by evading service of process. The same demon-possessed group stalkers who you saw monitoring me while I was at my hotel room at 231 South Euclid Avenue, where the evidence is showing the light source is never going to be here also, because the evidence is showing that it's rising there at 7:49 a.m., captured at 7:52 in the morning, rising, and it's also setting at 6:52 in the evening. The two are not happening at the same time while it's both rising and setting here in Los Angeles. That's capturing the specific environment where, by the way, the entity is stalking in concert with the people of the state and using helicopters to do so in concert with demons that are stalking with engineered light. Okay? It is currently, again, 12:50 12:50 p.m. and this light source that's over while Isela Hernandez and her minor children are group stalking is the prosecution of Thomas Garza, because he's a demon as well, engaging in what is this system of monitoring and denying what is your right in the courts, but it is speaking to what the federal government needs to be made aware of. The people of the state fill the gallery. The demon possessed are sitting on benches denying justice that you are due, while that entity is engaging what is criminal surveillance, and that's underway at the Superior Court, the San Bernardino Superior Court, where there's no light source that's going to be over this demon, Isela Hernandez, and also while I am at the same time at the courthouse in San Bernardino at Arrowhead and 3rd Street. This demon wants to be a distraction, but she's not. She's going to be exactly what you're going to juxtapose the light source above me in an entirely different area. We're not sharing the same sky space. There's no sun and helicopter flying over me at Arrowhead and 3rd Street that I would see over this light source at the same time. It's called the pattern of conduct. All right, and that's a demon that's engaging the pattern of conduct in plain sight, that impunity, but that's why they're all going to federal prison. Isela Hernandez is going to review this when it's before a federal court, and the impunity that she demonstrates now is going to be used against her, because there is no legal excuse while the entity is engaged in obsessive stalking and repeated kidnapping, criminal defamation, where the light source is never going to be over Ramona and Holt Boulevard on the same day 2 years ago, and then remaining over me as I then go back to Ontario. That's a body of evidence that this demon is facing, and this is a whole psychopath, which is also why you're removing her children, because she is stalking and monitoring someone else, and she's a whole demon that is not in any way persuasive while she keeps her back to me, and she's being documented. She's going to federal prison. And it is documented impunity. It's 12:51 p.m. This is exactly what Waste Management was engaging in. All right, and right now, what's the audible activity? My voice. What is entirely unpersuasive? The fact that these demons cross paths with engineered light all over surfaces. The fact that the entity is engaging what is stalking and helicopter 24/7, and the fact that the environment is filled with what is engineered light appearing all a manner in all ways at all places, not only including in my office, but inside of my apartment, which is the identification of a demon-possessed entity that are surrounding, and by surrounding meaning they're group stalking. All right, all 59 units here are going to federal prison. They're filled with third parties, all of their children that you just saw employed in the pattern of conduct, engaging in the cockroach behavior of pacing back and forth. Those demons were just holding bags while they were pacing back and forth under the engineered light that is not over the San Bernardino Superior Court. It is currently 12:52 p.m. and that is P.O.C. Thomas Garza is going to federal prison, by the way. P.O.C.